So, Mark, did you see that big rescue on Fremont Street of the zipliner? Got stuck in the middle. This once happened to my son over like a 400-foot gorge in Thailand, but I think it's pretty cool to have it happen right on Fremont Street.
Yeah, over a gorge would definitely be worse. I'd be panicking. But yeah, it's just weird that both happened at the same time, so there must have been some type of glitch. I hope they got another free ride, because it's kind of lame to just get stuck there, but also kind of funny, you know, the one guy waving to the other guy as he leaves.
I have to think it has to be a little embarrassing. You get like messed up with your friends. They making fun of you for being the guy who couldn't complete the course, but you get that slow view as you go down. I feel like it would be worth it. And like you said, hopefully they got another ride.
Yeah, 2 for 1. There you go. There's the deal.
Mark, we have a lot to cover on this show. A lot of big stuff happened this week. Let's start with MGM. I guess they are finally getting into the 21st century. They are finally allowing you to just have your free play on your card. I guess previously you had to go to the MGM Rewards desk in order to load it. Now it's just loaded to your card like it is at so many other casinos. Welcome to 2023 MGM Rewards.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about like how Cosmo has a much better system for all this type of stuff. Everything's loaded to the card. And it's annoying, like even to get the celebration dinner at Caesars, you know, forever you had to go get that printed off slip, and now it's added to the card for some, but not others. And so that's kind of annoying, but it's good to see, you know, to get rid of these player clubs. There's always a line, and they're hard to find. So if we get it to where everything is just kind of happens organically, it would be so much better. Or, you know, where you can just go to those machines and get it taken care of. I hate waiting in line at players clubs, so this is good news.
It seems like the locals casinos use those machines and kiosks a lot more for their promotions. Like they have, you know, gamble on Wednesday, earn this, and they have different vouchers that print out. And it doesn't seem like the strip casinos use those quite as much, and they rely more on you going to the desk. So anything to help you avoid those lines, especially when you don't have status and then you're in Caesars, even when you're in the Diamond line. Do you hate that? You're in the Diamond line at Caesars and then a 7 Stars member comes up in the other line and so you think you're the top dog and then somebody else outclasses you.
That's annoying. Or like when they grab from the wrong line, when they grab from the gold or platinum or whatever, and you're like, wait, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. Like I should be next. You get frustrated with the stupidest stuff. Yeah. It's like the taxi line, like, no, I'm not going to wait in line next to you. Thank you.
So, yeah, good news on MGM Rewards. If you have free play, it should be a lot easier to use. The Punk Rock Museum is opening on April 1st. We had talked about this a while ago when it was announced, but it is opening downtown Las Vegas, not far from Fremont Street, although not on Fremont Street. It's more in downtown proper, I'd say. They say it's the most expansive, inclusive, and intimate display of artifacts, flyers, photos, clothing, instruments, handwritten lyrics, artwork, and just about everything else donated by the people and bands who were there. Punk rock coming to Las Vegas. Exciting.
I wonder if they like bought a lot of the stuff from like defunct Planet Hollywoods.
I don't know.
All the memorabilia that are in those restaurants and stuff and Hard Rock. But no, it's something, it is kind of like a weird location. It's almost in like Arts District, but a little bit outside of it. So I wonder if that will play against it. You know, you're not going to get a lot of foot traffic there. I wouldn't think, but I guess if you're hanging out in Arts District, it's something you can go check out. Definitely something, if you're into punk rock music, you want to go see. The question is, somebody made a joke on Twitter, like, you know, how far do they push this out? Does it end up Nickelback is in there? I hope not.
We'll see. I hope to get down there, check it out. You know what always surprised me? You talk about memorabilia, just how much memorabilia there is. Like when you go to Hard Rocks and you go to all these places, there is so much memorabilia everywhere. Like every outfit that certain people wore and, you know, certain artists. And it's crazy that there's like a whole ecosystem around that stuff.
Yeah, I remember one time I had the Planet Hollywood, a suite at the Planet Hollywood in Vegas. And, you know, the table had stuff in it, like glass over top. And they had stuff from like Judge Dredd or something like that, like Wesley Snipes stuff from movies and all kinds of old trinkets. But every set has so much stuff that you can, you know, sell. So I wonder how much, that's kind of interesting. Like how much do movies make selling all their swag and memorabilia after the movie's done?
Maybe somebody out there knows, let us know. Now, speaking of artists, Taylor Swift is coming to town, and that was that big tour that sold out in minutes, caused all the controversy with Ticketmaster. But Las Vegas is welcoming her with custom decoration on the arch. I guess they're putting colors that correspond to her different eras of her music. And I think it looks pretty cool. And I like the fact that they're going to maybe decorate this differently for different people, different events. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks cool, and I definitely need to get down there. I haven't been under the arch since it's been up, and it looks cool, especially at night. So something to go out of your way for and get stuck in traffic for a bit if you need to. So I want to see, but yeah, it's cool that they're matching that up. You know, we're talking about the UConn men's basketball team in a bit, and maybe they owe them some of that after what they had to go through in Vegas. I guess they should put some blue and red and white lights on it for a night.
Yeah, we should give them some love. So let's talk about that. UConn men's basketball team is here to play in the Sweet 16 at T-Mobile Arena, and they check into their hotel. I'm not going to say what hotel it is, but apparently there is dirt, vomit, and worse. That's according to the article.
Why are you going to say which one? I mean, I guess
well,
if
I want
you
people
want
to
to walk
guess
like
now.
an Egyptian.
I want people out there to formulate their guess as to what hotel this was. Okay. And now we will tell you it is the dirty pyramid, I guess, the Luxor. Now the Luxor has a lot of nice. They have a lot of nice renovated rooms. You know, I've stayed there. I haven't had these issues, so I think this is more about housekeeping. But yeah, apparently they get to their room and they said basically it looked like the people who were there before did the movie The Hangover.
Yeah, like vomit and stuff. You don't want to see that. Like, you expect a little bit of dirt these days in Vegas just because they're not cleaning them as often or as nicely as they used to. I mean, we talked about in the past, like Aria had feces on the side of the toilet and stuff when a friend checked in and all that. So, you know, housekeeping. But this is, you know, a big event coming. You rented out all these rooms, a block room. Whoever's the manager of housekeeping should definitely get in some trouble for this. Like, if there's any room that you go check, it's these rooms that are, you know, coming for a team that's playing in an event. It's going to be headline news if they get something bad. So it's just kind of, it blows my mind that this still happens on stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this made national news. There's a lot of articles about it, although most articles don't mention the hotel, but we found that information on Twitter from the original author. So it was the Luxor. Apparently they moved up to Resorts World. That's the rumor. Their opponents were staying at Vdara, a much better choice when you're playing at T-Mobile. So maybe UConn cheaped out here. I don't know, but I agree with your point. This doesn't make Las Vegas look good. It doesn't make Luxor look good. And I think it probably reinforces what a lot of people already think about the pyramid, even though I like the newly renovated rooms, and I think they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they would even, you know, use this as an option. And you would think that the NCAA would be the one setting up the hotels and everything. And there's so many hotels right around, like Park MGM's right there, you know, Nomad's right there. Why wouldn't you be putting people there? And maybe, you know, there's other teams in this, so maybe they did, but you kind of got the short end of the stick. But Resorts World is not, you know, the best option for this. They could have walked from Vdara if they want to. Now they're going to have to do buses and stuff, which isn't a huge deal, but it's still not as convenient as it would have been.
I'm sure they were just happy to walk into a clean, modern room and not have to deal with
even if it's
nonsense.
soulless.
All right. Well, speaking of soulless, and I don't think this is soulless, but I think a lot of people probably do, especially because it's replacing the Mirage volcano. But the Guitar Hotel was officially approved by the county this week. Remember, we brought you all the details when they went in front of the Gaming Commission last year, and they said that the height could vary and the number of rooms. But basically, the Guitar Tower is happening. We know it's going to be 600 rooms, 660 feet tall. Now, the one in Florida is 450 feet tall, so this is significantly taller than that one, and it is now approved. So we know that they're not going to start construction until late 23, but probably early 24, and they're going to completely redevelop the property. And most importantly, that volcano is gone. It's going away. Nobody's going to save it. Apparently, there is a petition for to save it, change.org. 8,974 people have signed it, but nobody showed up at the county commission meeting to protest this. So yeah, nobody cared.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw, you know, under 10,000 signatures. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard. And with how many people are about Vegas, how many people have commented about the volcano going away, I would have thought that would have been like, you know, six figures or more on that. So that just goes to show, you know, things are changing, and I guess more people are apathetic to it than we imagined. But I'm looking forward to when this thing's built, going into the Sky Bar at the Waldorf and sitting there and staring at it. I think it'll be like the best spot, one of the best spots. I mean, I guess you can go to Mandalay Bay, go to the rooftop bar there, or at Delano. But I think that would be like a cool spot. You got like, were you looking up to it a little bit versus down? So I'm excited for that.
I think there's going to be a lot of good vantage points. whether it's there further south in the Strip, maybe the Eiffel Tower. You're going to get cool views from some of the other hotels that already exist. The guitar is designed to resemble back-to-back guitars with brightly lit strings. It has that light that kind of shines off into the air, similar to the Luxor light. And I'll show some video of what it looks like. In Florida at night, it's beautiful. The shows are incredible that they put on it. I had seen it during the day, you know, a couple years ago. And then just recently, like last month, I saw it at night and just loved it. So I'm looking forward to the shows. And then they're also going to put some sort of strip side music technology show. So they are replacing the volcano in some way. So we should be happy about that. But this is going to be a completely different property and one that's going to be exciting to kind of watch as it develops.
Yeah, I was waiting for you when you started to roll up there with the strip side. I was waiting for you to say screen.
Well,
like, no, please, no.
I'm sure there will be screens involved. Now, Vegas Loop is back in the news. We talked about their millionth passenger. And, you know, they had dropped this 69 station number, and that didn't kind of gel with their map, but we didn't see what the updated plans were. And this week, TechCrunch dug into some stuff. And about a month ago, I guess they submitted a new plan for Vegas Loop to the city of Las Vegas because they're trying to get approval. So for people who don't know, the Strip is in Clark County. And then kind of where the Stratosphere sits, that's the start of Las Vegas. That's where the Arch is and stuff. So that's different planning approvals and everything else. The city of Las Vegas is giving Boring a harder time with approvals for their safety, for their evacuations, even concerns about them building tunnels underneath the Stratosphere and the stability of all of that. So they are still working through a lot of the approvals for this. But they released this new map, which has basically double the stations, not quite double, but it's huge. And it goes to some other places like Chinatown, and there's more UNLV stops. And so there's definitely some expanded stops for locals or for more residential areas. But they also took the airport off of it.
Of course they did. No, that's too funny. This was the one thing everybody wanted was airport. That's all anybody cared about when all this started. Why can't we get a monorail to the airport? Why can't we get something to the airport? And then they take it off. I mean, it's too funny. And we've been wondering if this was ever going to get done. And now they're like, let's double down on it. And we're going to have to hire half of Vegas to drive cars in our tunnels to get this thing going. It's just, it blows my mind a bit.
Some of it's strange, too, that there's stations that are literally blocks away from each other. It seems like it's just too much. And, you know, these stations are going to cost between like $1.5 and $10 million, depending on what they are. Most of them will be above ground like we see at the convention center. So they won't be underground, which makes it a lot cheaper, I guess, to build the stations. So Boring builds the tunnels, and then I guess whoever, like the casino, will pay for the station. That's sort of the idea. The one good thing about this is it's completely privately funded, so there's no public funding here. The monorail was privately funded as well, so we're doing that. But I don't quite get why, taking the airport off and then not just like focusing on, you know, getting these casinos open, getting that first part of it open. There is a new kind of parallel tunnel that runs parallel to the Strip, so it does seem like they added other tunnels to kind of, I guess, help with easing traffic or whatever. But yeah, this is what it's supposedly going to look like. We'll see if they build it, but no airport really hurts, and I don't get it. I guess the taxis are happy.
Yeah, and I hate the airport, taxi line, Uber line, all that. So I was looking forward to this as something to alleviate some of that pressure, some of that stress. I mean, it's still like a 10, 15-minute ride to most places from the airport. So it's not a huge deal, but it would have been nice to get that, you know, that's a huge portion of the traffic around the Strip is taxis going to and from the airport. So it would have been nice to see some of that, you know, pulled off the streets. But, you know, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, and in this mess of a map, there's another thing. The tunnel is built all the way down to Blue Diamond in Las Vegas Boulevard, which, of course, is where the Brightline station is supposed to be. So hopefully at least that will tie into Brightline if and when that ever gets built. Although Brightline, not to give a huge update, but they are still marching forward. They keep getting more approvals, and they say they could start construction as early as late this year. So we'll see how Brightline goes. But, you know, maybe 10 years from now, we'll have the high-speed train coming in, the Vegas Loop all over the city, Mark. It's going to be glorious.
And then flying cars will come out. I don't know.
And the Dream Hotel is going to be open, beautiful on the south end of the Strip, which brings us to our next story, the Dream Hotel. So there's a lot of big new projects coming to Las Vegas that have been announced, and one of them is the Dream Hotel on the South Strip, basically across from Mandalay Bay or next to the Las Vegas sign, a little bit south of Mandalay Bay. And this company announced this project right before COVID. And then, of course, COVID came. They put it on hold. There was also a lot of concern with the airport. that there was balconies and that people could like shoot, or there could be bombs and stuff because it's right next to the airport property. So then they had to redesign the whole hotel. And then Dream Hotels got bought by Hyatt. Now that's the operating company. So there is the company that owns the property that's building it. And then Hyatt Dream Hotels will manage it when it opens. And the company that's building it, they've been funding it themselves, waiting for their financing to come through. We've seen the banking crisis, higher interest rates, and apparently their funding hasn't come through yet. They hope in the next few weeks it will, but they owe like $25-30 million to contractors. This is how it all starts. This doesn't look good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I usually don't start something until I know I can pay for it. So you'd think they would have delayed a bit until they had this funding locked up and guaranteed and a way to roll out. And, you know, it's terrible for all these people working at the construction site that aren't getting paid, or, you know, maybe the construction company has to front the bills, the contractors, all that stuff until they get the money. So I'm hopeful that they get it, because I wouldn't want all those people to get stiffed, but just seems like a really bad decision on their part to get this ball rolling without, you know, we're only talking $30-40 million. What's this supposed to cost? Like $550 million? So it's just a small drop in the bucket of the total cost, and they're already struggling.
Yeah, they announced that they had agreed to terms with a lender when they started the project, and then they said that the details kind of didn't get worked out. As we know, interest rates have risen, so the cost of borrowing that money has gone up substantially. And the one kind of concerning thing is that when projects die, this is how it happens, right? Something happens, they're not able to pay the contractors, work gets put on hold, they say, oh, we're going to get financing. We saw this happen quite often back in the Great Recession. Even, you know, obviously with Fontainebleau, even Cosmo had to pause, I believe, construction at a certain point for their, you know, for everything to happen. So hopefully it will just be a few weeks and they will get their financing, but this could turn into a longer issue. And then who knows, we might end up with another stalled project. So, you know, there's a lot of naysayers out there in the comments, especially always talking about, you know, Las Vegas is going to bust after this little boom that we've had. And I mean, this certainly could be evidence for them, but I feel like we should wait to see if, you know, in the next few weeks they can get this fixed. If not, if it starts stretching out to months, then I'd be worried.
Yeah, but this is kind of what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. We saw the person back out of buying the land behind where the Riviera used to be. Now somebody else is buying it, but he was worried about construction costs and financing and all that stuff. And then, what is his name? Fertitta. He's cooling off a little bit of building his casino and everything, and he doesn't know what he's going to do. And we'll see how it plays out. So that's, you know, a row of things, and the Rio hasn't started anything yet, and that's been a couple of years now. So it just seems like everything's kind of in a holding pattern for the time being, which is understandable.
And there are other projects around town that have been announced, just like local projects, condo projects, stuff like that are kind of on hold too. So yeah, I mean, this is a uncertain kind of time with the higher interest rates, but you're right. There's a few different kind of signs of concern. I think it's good that the Riviera site sold, and it even sold for higher than what the original buyer was going to pay for it. And Fertitta, while he may be holding off or kind of, you know, buying his time before he announces anything, he did spend a lot of money on that land. And, you know, there is definitely still hope, I think, here in Las Vegas. You have the projects like Fontainebleau and the Sphere and other stuff that's so far along, it's going to get finished. Also, Durango, the new casino from Station Casino, is definitely going to open this year. So, yeah, we do have some good stuff, but this is concerning. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Dream Hotel doesn't get built just because of the location and everything else. But let's hope that they get the loan, because it looks like a cool boutique casino property, something different than what we see elsewhere with those mega resorts.
Yeah, plus you can go hang out at the Pinball Hall of Fame, you know, for a little bit and head back to your room. So it's good.
That was the other crazy thing about this. So many problems. There was COVID. There was having to redesign the building. And then when they finally figured it out, the Pinball Hall of Fame built 8 feet into the Dream's land. I guess the maps were wrong or something. And they eventually settled this. There was a lawsuit, and then they settled it. Happy neighbors now. But there's been so many kind of problems with this hotel. They finally cleared them, and now they don't have the money. I'd love to know what everybody out there thinks about the Dream Hotel. Do you think it's going to get built? Do you think it's donezo? And what about the Vegas Loop expansion? Is it going to be stupid not to go to the airport? And everything else we discussed, the Luxor vomit. Well, we know what you think, Mark.
I think everybody, I mean, what's the whole point of this thing if we were not, you know, going to the airport? That was the one thing everybody requested. So I think it's a huge swing and miss. It blows my mind.
So let us know what you think about anything we talked about in the comments. We'll discuss it there. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. and we'll be back in just a couple days with another video. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Hopefully, we're still dancing. Michigan State's still dancing when this video comes out.